Hi there, it's Scott here, your Flip That Script host again, here on this lovely day to talk to you about boundaries. Boundaries are extremely important when it comes to understanding and dealing with your relationships with toxic, narcissistic, abusive family members. Boundaries are all about where one person ends and you begin. Boundaries are about honoring our separateness and about what we value and what's important to us. Healthy boundaries are kind of a given with normal, reciprocal, mutually respectful relationships. Toxic family members, especially parents, have a vested interest in you not having strong boundaries. That's why toxic, narcissistic, abusive parents don't really teach us as young children about having healthy boundaries because they benefit from you not having them. So with that kind of a background, you may need to work on becoming firmer with clearly communicating and enforcing what your boundaries are. Toxic, narcissistic, abusive family members disrespect boundaries and really want you not to have them. A good test of this is once you learn to be clearer about communicating what your boundaries are, you will very quickly see how much your toxic, abusive, narcissistic family members object to your boundaries. The only people that would object to you having reasonable, healthy boundaries is those who benefit from you not having them. Now, toxic, narcissistic, abusive family members will act as if your boundaries are not reasonable. But really what you're trying to do is establish the same rules of engagement that don't require such strict enforcement when it comes to those who you have healthy relationships with. Boundaries can be as simple as, if you keep giving me unsolicited advice during this phone call, I'm going to hang up. A boundary can be, don't call me after 10 o'clock unless it's an emergency. Boundaries are very important and they're part of taking care of ourselves. Boundaries include such extremes as what I myself felt like I needed to do as my only healthy choice, which was to establish the ultimate no contact boundary between myself and my father, and between myself and my only sibling, my older brother. But boundaries can also be less strict. But it is important when it comes to toxic, narcissistic, abusive family members that you learn to become more assertive in communicating what your boundaries are. They're not to be discussed or debated. They're simply to be communicated. And the most important thing to understand is boundaries are not about them, but about giving them options, making consequences and limitations clear. And the most important thing of all of these is that you follow through with the consequences so that how serious you are about your boundaries is clearly conveyed.